How's it going, everybody? Welcome back into another edition of the Red Sox Rundown. I am your host, Jack Lauderay, back in the home studio today because it is Thanksgiving. If you are celebrating, I hope you are having a fantastic day. And we're going to talk about the Sonny Gray trade. We're going to talk about why I think the Red Sox might be making a huge mistake in the next few weeks. And we're going to dive into everything that you need to know. But before I do that, again, it is Thanksgiving, so I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Because it's about food, it's about family, it's about football, it's about all of the above. But you let me know, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food? I'm relatively simple, mashed potatoes, turkey, all of the above. I'm a big fan of all of it. But you let me know down below, what is your number one favorite food that you have for Thanksgiving? All right. Let's talk, because I had a short go out yesterday that got a lot of heat about the Sonny Gray trade, the Dylan Cease signing, and why I am worried and concerned about the path the Red Sox are taking. It got a lot of heat, rightfully so, because a lot of people thought it was an overreaction, which I don't think it is, because based on everything I'm going to show you guys today, based on all the quotes I'm going to go over, the Red Sox might be headed down a very concerning path. Now, there is a lot of time left in this offseason. There is a lot of time to pivot, but the way that it looks now is not great. Let's start by talking about the Sonny Gray trade first. I actually don't mind the Sonny Gray trade. I think Sonny Gray is an incredibly intriguing arm that's probably going to do a lot of really good things in Boston this year. He eats innings, he strikes a lot of batters out, over 200 batters last year, and he barely walks anyone. Of course I want an arm like that on my baseball team. Of course I am perfectly happy to have Sonny Gray on my team. And only having to give away Richard Fitz and Brandon Clark and basically paying less than Lucas Giolito would have got. Sonny Gray's better than Lucas Giolito. I'll just say that off the top. If you look at any of the underlying metrics, if you look at any of the raw metrics, Sonny Gray's better than Lucas Giolito. And you're getting him for cheaper than you would have paid Lucas Giolito if you gave him the qualifying offer. So the trade, I have no problem with. I have no problem with the trade at all. I'm very excited to see Sonny Gray pitch as a member of the Boston Red Sox, be a part of this rotation. So I want to make that abundantly clear first and foremost, because there was a lot of people in the comments that were like, Jack, Sonny Gray's a great arm, you're overreacting, blah, blah, blah. I got no problem with Sonny Gray. I have no problem with the trade. I think the trade's a pretty good trade. You didn't have to give up much. Richard Fitz, obviously, really great locker room guy, blah, 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 blah. But you didn't have to give up much. You didn't give up any of your major trade chips. And you got back $20 million as well. So you're paying him 1 year, basically $20 million. And again, he's got really good stuff, really good stats, really good metrics. He's going to be a very valuable part of the team this year, I firmly believe. The problem I run into is how they view Sonny Gray, how Sonny Gray changes their plans, and how I don't think that they should view Sonny Gray the way that I think they are. We're going to talk about all of that. I've got quotes, I've got tweets, I've got every single solitary thing to back up my claim in a second. But before we do, I do just want to get your guys' pulse. Grade the Sonny Gray trade for me. A, B, C, D, or F. We now have all the trade details. We know how much money the Red Sox are getting back. We know all of that now. When we first put out the first video, there was still some speculation and still some stuff coming out. But you let me know now that we have all the information. Grade the Sonny Gray trade. A, B, C, D, or F. You let me know down below in the comments. Okay. So I want to start by reading a quote from Craig Breslow at the GM meetings that took place a few weeks ago. That's how I want to start this. And then I'm going to read some tweets and some quotes that came out over the last few days since the Sonny Gray trade. So here is Craig Breslow at the GM meetings when he was asked about what he believes some of the biggest needs are for the Red Sox this offseason. He said, starting pitching. And particularly somebody we feel can start alongside or slot in behind Garrett and start a playoff game for us. Because of the depth that we've built up over the last couple of years, we feel pretty good about our overall starting pitching and the number 2s through 10s. And that's not going to take away from guys who are certainly capable of doing more. It's just to say I don't think we're going to spend a ton of time trying to add a 4 or a 5 starter. If we're going to make a starting pitching addition, I think it should be someone who could pitch at the front of a rotation and start a playoff game for us. Okay, I think we all agree with that. They need to get a certified dog as a number 2. And we've talked about plenty of names. Joe Ryan, Freddy Peralta, Hunter Green, Mackenzie Gore, potentially Sandy Alcantara or Edward Cabrera. Like, there's a lot of names out there that you could realistically slot in as your number 2, be that number 2 starter to complement Garrett Crochet, and be perfectly comfortable starting in a playoff game. This is nothing against Sonny Gray. I don't see Sonny Gray as that number 2 option. I don't see Sonny Gray as that big splash trade. I don't see Sonny Gray as the guy that's going to go toe-to-toe with Crochet, be that slotted number 2, and start the second playoff game for the Red Sox. I could eat crow in a year of time. And if he is a Cy Young candidate, if he's second in Cy Young voting like he was in 2023, sure, fine. I'll eat crow. But as of right now, that's not it. I'm perfectly fine with Sonny Gray being the Lucas Giolito replacement, making him your 3, making him your 4 behind Bayo if you view Bayo as your 3. But I do not think that Sonny Gray meets the parameters of that quote from Craig Breslow. And this now is where I started to get nervous. Here is Chris Cotillo after the trade. He says, it is November 25th. There's a ton of winter left. The market has barely moved. With that said, early indications from his sources, the Red Sox are shifting their attention to an impact bat at this juncture while not ruling out further pitching additions as the offseason continues. And then Alex Spear continued with another report. This is coming via Gordo. He aggregated this from Alex Spear. He said the Red Sox are unlikely to pursue a top free agent starting pitcher after acquiring Sonny Gray, knowing they also need to spend big on a bat. They will continue to take an opportunistic approach to adding to parts of the roster, including a possible trade for a starting pitcher too. Okay, so I know what you're probably saying there. Well, Jack, they didn't fully rule it out. Jack, they're talking about potentially trading for a number 2. Jack, this, that, the other thing. I understand that. And I will say a caveat here. There's a lot of winter left. A lot can change. But let me run you through a pattern that I'm starting to see from Craig Breslow that is worrying for me, to say the least. Craig Breslow has a very bad habit of tunnel vision. And we've seen this a few times now. Last offseason, they were in on Juan Soto. I don't think any of us really thought they were going to get Juan Soto, but they were deep in the sweepstakes for Juan Soto. And that's all we heard about for the Red Sox. We did not hear any other reports about them looking at anybody else. It was Juan Soto, Juan Soto, Juan Soto, Juan Soto. And I understand that. For a generational talent like Juan Soto, you need to put a lot of your chips on the table. But you also know you have other needs that you need to be supplementing for. You need to have some eggs in other baskets. All of your eggs cannot be in one basket. What happens? They don't sign Juan Soto. The next day, Max Fried signs with the Yankees. The Yankees had irons in 2 different fires. They were going after Juan Soto while also communicating with Max Fried, and they signed Max Fried. Now, I will give him a little bit of credit. He pivoted fantastically by going and trading for Garrett Crochet, but that wasn't until after Max Fried had already signed. They knew they had to get a deal done because they didn't have a choice. They needed an ace. So that doesn't, that's not, in my opinion, a good counterpoint, because they tunnel visioned. They missed out on the big free agent starting pitcher. And then they had no choice. They had to pivot and make that trade. And I love that Garrett Crochet is a freaking dog. I love Garrett Crochet. But then move forward to the trade deadline. The rumors are Joe Ryan. And the Red Sox in on Joe Ryan, pushing for Joe Ryan. We had the two accounts tweet out that they had traded for Joe Ryan when it didn't happen. And then, as soon as it became clear that Joe Ryan was not going to get traded, they had barely any time left on the clock before the trade deadline, had to quickly pivot to Dustin May, and we all know how that worked out. So, what's the common theme we're seeing here? Breslow hyper focuses on one specific player, does not feel out anything else, and misses out on potential opportunities. The pivot is not always going to work. It worked in the offseason with Garrett Crochet. It didn't work at the deadline with Dustin May. That pattern is the pattern that concerns me. The reports that they are shifting their attention to an impact bat is a good thing because they should be signing impact bats this offseason. But it worries me that they might think, and I think that Breslow and some in the front office think, that Sonny Gray is that number 2 that he was talking about in Vegas. And that they don't need to worry. And if they don't sign another pitcher, they're going to be content. That's what worries me. Okay? So I'm not overreacting to the trade. I like the trade. I have no problem with the trade. What I'm reacting to is the reports and the quotes that are leading me to believe that, oh no, are we going down this path again of them going to tunnel vision and miss out on opportunities? Okay? Because what happens, okay? They tunnel vision on Pete Alonso and Alex Bregman. You bring back one of them. You're not able to bring back both of them. And what happens at that time if a Joe Ryan gets traded to another team, if a Freddy Peralta gets traded to another team, if a Mackenzie Gore gets traded to another team? Now, again, these are all hypotheticals, but what if? We've seen it happen. What happens then? Who's he going to pivot to? What are they going to do? Dylan Cease is off the board, so they can't go get him. What are they going to do? That's what concerns me. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Again, there's a lot of winter left, but it's a concerning trend that after what I've read and heard over the last few days does concern me. We have more quotes. We have more tweets. Here's a few more. Here's Craig Breslow when asked if Sonny Gray is that pitcher he was describing in Vegas, okay? He said, I don't know how much sense it makes in November to put a number on a guy. We're getting back to classic GM talk from Brez. I think Sonny's a very talented major league player. The seasons that he has put up pretty consistently indicate that to be the case. That said, we still intend to improve our team, and exactly what that looks like we don't know right now, but we'll continue to try and explore opportunities to figure out where that takes us. So again, leaving the door open, but based on the trend I just told you about hyper-focusing and tunnel visioning, that makes me concerned. Here is more from Chris Cotillo, aggregated via Gordo. The early sense around the league, according to Chris Cotillo, is that adding Sonny Gray makes the Red Sox less likely to pursue another big-name starting pitcher this winter, with their focus being on adding a bat to the lineup. So there's two things in that tweet that I want to break down. First things first, less likely to pursue a big-name starting pitcher. Do they view Sonny Gray as that guy? That's what concerns me about that. And secondly, focus on adding a bat. We've talked about this on the channel a few times now. They cannot just add one bat. They need to add 2 high-caliber bats. Because not only are you replacing Alex Bregman, who's not on the team anymore, but you're also still trying to replace Rafael Devers and his huge home run ceiling. If you would have extended Alex Bregman in the summer, like he was saying he was open to doing, you would only need to go get one bat. But that's not the world we live in. Alex Bregman is also a free agent. So even if it's not Alex Bregman, you still need 2 impact bats in this lineup. Because we talked about it the other day. If you only add one, you're back to 0. You're back to where you were last year. And as we saw, that wasn't good enough last year. I get it. There were some injuries that were suffered. Roman Anthony being the biggest one. Missing, not having Alex Bregman for a good chunk of the year. I understand that. But even then, when everyone was fully healthy, that team didn't look like a World Series contending/winning team. So you need to add more volume there. I'm happy getting 1, but you need 2. So that tweet in particular is extra concerning because it shows that not only are they not going after another big-name free agent, at least that's the early sense around the league, but it also seems like their focus is only on adding 1 bat. That's not good enough. And us as fans should not settle. We should be pushing this franchise that we know has money, that we know can spend. We should be pushing this team for more. We should be pushing this team to be great. 1 pitcher, Sonny Gray, and 1 bat, that's not going to do it. It's not. That's not going to do it. All right? We've got more from Rob Bradford, who had a report after the trade as well. There are absolutely some in the Red Sox front office who believe that Gray represents exactly what Breslow was talking about in Vegas. His ability to strike guys out, miss bats, control the strike zone helps make that case. Some in those offices would even say 2025 Gray isn't that far off from 2025 Joe Ryan. What are we talking about here? Again, I want to make it abundantly clear, and I talked about it at the beginning of the video. I like the Sonny Gray trade. I don't have a problem with the Sonny Gray trade. He cannot be your number 2. He's a dynamic arm. Yes. Yes. He strikes guys out. He eats innings. He doesn't walk a lot of people. Yes, he's going to be a great part of this team. But he's not your number 2. And for people in the front office to believe that he is concerning. Okay? So that's my entire thesis. Okay? That's my entire thesis here as I refocus. I am concerned that Breslow is going down the same path he's gone down before, where they are content with what they have acquired in Sonny Gray, which again, I'm all fine with. Great. He's going to be a great addition. But for them to be content with their rotation with just Sonny Gray. That is the first part. The second part is that it only seems like they're going to bring in one bat. That's not good enough. I worry that if they hyper-focus on a Pete Alonso or a Kyle Schwarber or an Alex Bregman, that they will miss out on other pitcher opportunities. You didn't trade away any of your big trade chips. They're all still here. Why are you white-knuckling them? What are you holding on to them for? An outfielder needs to be traded. You've got talented arms in your farm system that can be traded. You've got talented position players in your farm system that can be traded. What are you holding on to them for? Make a decisive move. You did it last year with Garrett Crochet. Do it again this year. You need to get better, not middle out and stay the same. And that is what concerns me about the path that the Red Sox may be going down. Again, a lot of winter left. A lot can happen. But just where we stand right now, it's at least a little bit concerning. Do you trust the Red Sox front office? Type T for trust, type D for don't. I don't know. We're going down a trend that I don't love. We'll see if they can prove me wrong. But at this point, I just don't know. But you let me know. Type T for trade in the comments if you trust them. Type D for don't if you do not. I want to hear your thoughts down below. Real quick, I do want to add, there is a report from John Heyman that may make us feel a little bit better, that the Red Sox are looking into signing up to 2 bats. Here's what he had to say. He said, the Red Sox are considering signing up to 2 of these 5 big-time lineup enhancements. The uber-popular Kyle Schwarber plus Pete Alonso, Kazuma Okamoto, and JT Realmuto, as well as last winter's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. Oh, and Alex Bregman. I didn't have the full quote here. And Alex Bregman. If that's the case, and you can get 2 big bats this offseason, I feel so much better with where this team's at. So much better with where this team's at. And I'm going to do a video later this weekend where I break down all 5 of those trade candidates, or not trade candidates, free agent candidates, and let you know my thoughts. I will say, though, JT Realmuto should not be a part of this list. I'll break that down. It needs to be either Schwarber, Alonso, Okamoto, or Bregman, a combination of those 4. One of these is not like the other, and that's JT Realmuto. But yeah, it's good that there's at least reports that they're looking at 2, and that they know they need to add 2, but we will see what they do at the end of the day. Do the Red Sox add more than 1 bat? You let me know down below in the comments. Type Y for yes if you think they do. Type N for no if you think they do not. I want to hear your thoughts, and that's where we're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen. Longer form video today where I had a lot of thoughts that I wanted to get out. I wanted to give all of the reports and rumors and tweets and quotes so that I could make my claim and I could give you backing as to why I feel that way. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe if you've not already, because when the Red Sox make moves, we make videos. As soon as the Sonny Gray trade happened, I said, I got to hop in the studio and make a video, and we did within the hour. You don't want to miss any of that coverage. So hit the subscribe button if you've not already. Join the family. Help us get to 8,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your Thanksgiving. And until next time, go Sox.